Greetings. Welcome to the Soul Whisp. I'm your storyteller, Carlisle Munson. Today's story is called Tadpole Catcher. In the sticky summer of 1964, in Spring Lake, Florida, where the air hung heavy with the scent of pine and pulp, two boys, Luther and Edward, were thick as thieves. Luther, 7, was a lanky kid with a gap-toothed grin and a fearless streak, always leading the charge. Edward, 6, smaller and wiry, with freckles like scattered buckshot, followed Luther anywhere, his laugh a spark that lit up their adventures. They lived on the same dirt road, their houses framed by live oaks, where they'd build forts from palmetto fronds and chase fireflies until their mamas hollered them home. Martin Lake, a murky cooling pond for the nearby paper mill, was off-limits, its water warm and reeking of rotten eggs from sulfur runoff. Their parents warned them away. Snakes, disease, the mill's looming smokestacks. But to Luther and Edward, it was a forbidden kingdom. One July morning, with the sun already baking the earth, Luther whispered, "Let's swim." Edward's eyes widened, but he nodded, loyal as ever. They grabbed their cut-off shorts, snuck past Luther's mama frying bacon, and bolted through the woods, dodging opossums that hissed from the underbrush and raccoons that watched with bandit eyes. At the lake, the water was a muddy green, alive with bullfrog tadpoles as big as golf balls, darting like secrets beneath the surface. The boys whooped, stripping to their skivvies, and plunged in, the warm water wrapping them like a dare. The stink didn't matter. It was theirs, this wild, smelly freedom. They splashed, chased tadpoles, and wrestled until their fingers pruned, laughing until they couldn't breathe. Luther, standing on a sunken log, declared himself king of the swamp, crowning Edward his royal tadpole catcher. The woods echoed their joy, the raccoons scattering, the opossums indifferent. As dusk fell, they trudged home, soaked and grinning, their sneakers squelching. Luther's mama was waiting on the porch, arms crossed, her eyes narrowing at his dripping clothes. "Martin Lake, Luther James, you know better." The whooping came swift, a switch from the backyard peach tree, while Edward watched from the fence, wincing but silent. Luther took it without a tear, his defiance a badge. Edward's mama, softer, just shook her head and sent him to bed without supper. That day became their talisman, a story they retold in whispers, a pact sealed in sulfur and tadpoles. Life pulled them apart as boys do. Luther's family moved to Ocala, Edward's to Tampa, but they found each other again in 1975, both 18, at a community college in Panama City. Those summer evenings, they'd sprawl on Panama City Beach, the Gulf's waves hissing, sharing beers and memories of Martin Lake. "Remember the tadpoles?" Edward would say, and Luther'd laugh, mimicking his old king of the swamp pose, sand sticking to his back. College ended, and their paths diverged again. Edward, with his quick fingers and restless heart, picked up a guitar, his talent carrying him to Nashville. By his late 20s, he was a backup guitarist for Bon Jovi, touring stadiums, his Stratocaster singing under stage lights. He settled in Tennessee, a quiet life between tours, his apartment walls lined with vinyl and memories of Florida's sticky summers. Luther, always the leader, found a different stage. He became a preacher, not in grand churches, but in small tents and community halls across the South, his voice a fire that drew crowds. His sermons, laced with stories of redemption, never mentioned Martin Lake, but the spark in his eyes did. Now in their 60s, Edward in his Tennessee cabin, Luther in a modest parsonage in Georgia, they still write letters. Not emails, but paper, like when they were kids. Edward sends Luther demo tapes, his guitar riffs echoing their wild youth. Luther sends back handwritten prayers, his words carrying the weight of redemption. Each holds that day at Martin Lake like a pebble in their pocket, worn smooth by time. Edward, strumming late at night, sees tadpoles in the notes, their dance a flicker of that sulfurous summer. Luther, preaching to weary souls, feels the lake's warm water in his voice, a current of defiance and joy. They never return to Spring Lake, but the lake lives in them, a magical, smelly day when two boys defied the world. Just as Luther remembered Edward quoting a song, "I saw a lion. He was standing alone with a tadpole in a jar." And they both knew it was their day, eternal, untamed, forever theirs. Thank you for listening to my story. Till next time, may God smile on you and bless you.